Folks, we are just less than a week away from the 2023 NFL Draft. Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Harrison Graham. And on today's show, I cooked up a 2023 NFL mock draft with Blockbuster trades. I did this last year with 5 big trades. I think there's actually 7 trades on today's show. Last year, I mocked the A.J. Brown to Philly trade. We'll see if I can hit on 1 or 2 again this year. Let's go ahead and jump on in here. With the number 1 overall pick, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young. Kind of feels like a formality at this point. I'd give it a 99% chance he ends up in Carolina. Number 2 pick, the Houston Texans select Will Anderson Jr. Kind of feels like the draft starts at number 2 now, with Bryce Young almost certainly going number 1 overall. I'm in the camp that the Texans should draft a quarterback number 2 overall, but there's a lot of buzz that they don't love C.J. Stroud and that they feel it's a little bit too early for Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. So take the best player available, arguably, and that is Will Anderson, and continue to build this roster. Again, I'm basing this mock based on what I think could happen, adding some trades in there as well. Should the Texans draft a quarterback at number 2? I think they should. I think they should just draft C.J. Stroud. I don't care that he has the same agent as Deshaun Watson. If you're going to blackball a player as an organization based on an agent, I think that's just bad business. D for draft, P for pass. Let me know what you guys think. Should the Texans draft a QB number 2 overall? Trade alert, da-da-da. First trade on the mock. Titans, Cardinals. There's been a lot of buzz that Tennessee could go up and get a quarterback, and they leapfrog the Indianapolis Colts. Here are the trade details. DeAndre Hopkins to the Titans as well. Number 3 overall pick and number 96 overall. Cardinals get back 11, 41, and 72. Again, I don't think Hop is going to have that much value. Probably like a 4th round. So they move back, get off of his contract, add 3 top 72 picks as Tennessee moves up, and they draft C.J. Stroud while adding him a weapon in DeAndre Hopkins. So I like this quite a bit for the Tennessee Titans. It's possible they'd have to give up a future pick as well, but I think if you're the Titans and you love Stroud or one of these quarterbacks, leapfrogging Indianapolis at 4 makes sense. I think Arizona's open for business, so that's what I opted to do here. So the Indianapolis Colts in this mock select Anthony Richardson. Now, there's been a lot of Will Levis smoke for Indy, so they could go that direction as well. But I think Richardson is the better prospect. I think he's got higher upside, so I opted to go in that direction here for the Colts. Share this video, spread the word, as we are pumping out NFL content every single day. And if you want to follow back on Twitter, there's a way to make that happen. Click the share button, select Twitter, and click post to Twitter. Before you do so, tag me in the tweet at HGrahamNFL, and then the first 10 shares get a follow back from yours truly. So let's make that happen. I'll give everyone a retweet who shares it, but I will also follow anyone back, the first 10 people, I should say, who share the video. All right, number 5 pick overall, Seattle Seahawks select Jalen Carter. There's conflicting reports out there. Here's what I know. It is smokescreen season, so take everything you hear and read with a grain of salt. But Pete Carroll is a big second chances guy. He has drafted plenty of players with character concerns in the past, and a lot of those guys have had success. I think Jalen Carter is by far the best player left in the draft at number 5 overall, arguably the best player in the draft period, so they select him here. The Detroit Lions get Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback out of Oregon. There's been a lot of buzz that they'll take a corner here. They could go quarterback depending on who's available to groom behind Jared Goff, but I'm going with Gonzalez. I think the highest upside corner in the NFL draft. Now, the Raiders are on the clock at number 7 overall, but I'm making a trade. Hey, Josh McDaniels, Patriots, Raiders connection, had to cook that up. Patriots could use some help at receiver. I know Juju Smith-Schuster signed there. He's probably going to play some slot. Hunter Renfro's strictly a slot, but I think you can mix and match, make that work there in New England. They move up to number 7 overall, add a 5th-round pick as well. Raiders drop to 14, but they pick up a top 50 selection, number 46 overall in doing so. And then the Patriots select Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech. There's been some chatter that the Texans might take him number 2 overall over Will Anderson. We'll see if that actually could happen, but Atlanta is definitely a threat to draft an edge, so New England leapfrogs him here and gets the best one on the board. Jaxon Smith-Njigba goes to the Falcons at number 8. You know, I was kind of stuck on what to do here with Atlanta. I thought about Will Levis to take another quarterback, but I'm not high enough on him to take him and just completely kick Desmond Ridder to the curb. So I got rid of another weapon. You traded Calvin Ridley at the trade deadline last year. You've got Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I think you add Jaxon Smith-Njigba, a guy who consistently gets open. Give Ridder the best chance to succeed this year. And if he doesn't, Atlanta will be drafting a quarterback in 2024. Today's show is sponsored by Z-Biotics. Let's face it, I don't rally the way I used to after a night of drinking. I'm very groggy the next day. But that is until I found Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics pre-alcoholic probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It is designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. So drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol. Then you drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Give Z-Biotics a try yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off your first order when you use code chatsports at checkout at zbiotics.com/chatsports. Code chatsports. Z-Biotics is 100% money back guaranteed. So if you don't like the product for any reason, they will give you a refund, no questions asked. It comes in this little vial, just kind of a shot here. Rip it. Have a good night of drinking. Get some rest. Next day, you'll be feeling as good as new. Code ChatSports to get that discount. zbiotics.com/chatsports. Check the comments and the description for that link and code. All right, another trade. The Chicago Bears definitely would be open to trading down from number 9 overall. And I still think Houston would be interested in drafting a quarterback. So they also have the 12th pick. So they move up from 12 to 9, pick up 148 as well. They throw Tytus Howard to Chicago, plus the 12th pick and a 4th-round pick. And then Houston selects Will Levis, the quarterback out of Kentucky, the best quarterback remaining at this point in the draft. To secure that guy, you got to move up and get him sometime. So I think they do that here to get a gunslinger. Let him compete with Davis Mills. Let the best man win. And if it doesn't work out, you can draft a quarterback next year. All right, better QB prospect. Type AR for Anthony Richardson or WL for Will Levis. Neither is great to me. I think they both have big-time physical tools, but I like Richardson's upside more, so I'll gamble there. Type AR. Let me know what you guys think, though. Number 10 overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Peter Skoronski. I thought about Bijan Robinson here, but I think adding Skoronski makes that offensive line even better. They lost Isaac Seumalo in free agency. Plug him at guard, and you're going to be living pretty. Devon Witherspoon is the selection here for the Arizona Cardinals. This is a simple pick, best player available. I think he could go as high as 6 to Detroit. He goes 11 here to Arizona after they trade down from number 3. Then the Bears make a pick here at number 12 overall and add Lukas Van Ness. I think the Bears are going to be intrigued with some players at number 9, but enough players to move down a few slots if they want to for either an offensive lineman or defensive lineman. But since I got Tytus Howard from Houston to play right tackle, I went D-line. Lukas Van Ness was the best edge remaining on the board. Trade alert, We're wondering, when's the Aaron Rodgers trade going to go down? Well, here's what I cooked up, and this is the hardest trade to mock because there will almost certainly be future type of pick or potential pick involvement added to this deal, but I went with this. I don't think the Jets want to give up 13, but if they do, I think they could get a second back. So they give up 13, get Rodgers, get a second and a 4th. I don't know if that's in the ballpark. I think both teams feel like the value is a lot different than the other one does because we don't know how long Aaron Rodgers wants to continue to play, but this is the trade that I mocked right here. Now, will Aaron Rodgers to the Jets finally happen? The clock's ticking. If it doesn't happen by the draft, does it happen? I mean, it still could, of course, but it gets a little bit harder. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let us know if you guys think the Aaron Rodgers to Jets trade will happen. Okay, Dalton Kincaid is the selection here for Green Bay as they have 2 of the next 3 picks. They don't really have a starting caliber tight end. They lost Robert Tonyan to Chicago in free agency, so they give Jordan Love a weapon here. Darnell Wright to the Raiders after they traded down for number 7. I think he's a plug-and-play right tackle opposite of Colton Miller. I think the value's good there. And then Green Bay gets another weapon for Jordan Love. If you're going to commit to Jordan Love this year, commit to him. Zay Flowers, Dalton Kincaid, and if Jordan Love doesn't work out, well, whoever the next quarterback is has a lot of weapons to work with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and 2 good running backs still in the mix as well. At number 16 overall, simple BPA pick, best player available, Nolan Smith. He's kind of an undersized edge for a 4-3, but I think, with Washington having some bigger defensive linemen, he can give you a different look as kind of a speed rusher, play some off-ball linebacker for you as well, so I add him to the Commanders at 16. Join us, subscribe. We'll be live for all 7 rounds of the 2023 NFL Draft this year. Hit that notification bell. That way you know exactly when we go live. We'll be live Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've already decided when we're going live on Thursday. 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. Bryce Young, the projected number 1 overall pick. Join us this year as we will be live for all 7 rounds of the NFL Draft. Don't miss any of it here on Chat Sports. Next up is Paris Johnson Jr., the offensive tackle out of Ohio State. He goes to Pittsburgh. Great value. You just sit back and wait if you're the Steelers. Him and Broderick Jones still available. Paris Johnson goes to Pittsburgh. They desperately need a tackle. Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. Remember, Detroit traded their tight end last year to Minnesota, and they replaced him here with Mayer. Really good tight end class. 3-down guy. He can block, and he can catch the football as well. Here's an interesting trade, and this is one I'm kind of conflicted on because I don't know what the Bucs really are trying to do. Are they trying to win now still with Baker Mayfield? It's hard to say. If they are, Dalvin Cook is an upgrade at running back from what they had last year with Leonard Fournette. So Minnesota moves up to 19. Tampa drops to 23, picks up a 4th, and Dalvin Cook to be their lead workhorse. And then what does Minnesota do? Well, they replace him with the best player available. Bijan Robinson could go as high as 9 to Chicago, maybe 10 to Philadelphia, certainly in play there for Robinson. You go get your long-term replacement at running back if you are Minnesota. At number 20, Seattle gets Myles Murphy, the edge out of Clemson. He's kind of a wild card. I think he could be a fringe top 10 guy. He could also fall late in the first round. I think at 20 overall, the value is pretty good. Really good run stopper, needs to add to his pass rush arsenal. At number 21 overall, Deonte Banks, another corner, comes off the board out of Maryland. He's been moving up draft boards as of late. He could go even higher than this, but J.C. Jackson didn't play that well last year for the Chargers. Then he got hurt. I think adding a corner could make a lot of sense. Trade alert, da-da-da, da-da-da. Baltimore trades down with Kansas City. This was similar trade compensation to what the Chiefs did last year when they moved up from Trent McDuffie. I think they moved up from 29 to 21, in this case 31 to 22, so very similar. Obviously, you give up 31 there. You give up your late 3rd, and then one of your 4ths as well to jump up 9 spots in round 1. How many trades do you guys think will happen in round 1? I've got 7 here. Usually it's anywhere between 4 and 7, 4 and 8. What do you guys think? How many trades happen in the first round this year? Quentin Johnson, the selection here after the Chiefs move up. I think getting a bigger, twitchy receiver like this adds a different look to that offense. They obviously lost Juju Smith-Schuster in free agency, so adding a big guy that can go get the football could make some sense. Broderick Jones to Tampa. I think it's a good pick here, especially if you're staying in win now. Protect Baker Mayfield. They cut Donovan Smith. Jones can plug in and play left tackle. Certainly going to be a learning curve there as a rookie, but he's got all the tools to be really good. Joey Porter Jr., BPA pick here for Jacksonville. I think you get him in the final 25% of the first round. Really good value. He could go top 15. He's still on the board at 24 for the Jags. Jordan Addison, I'd be shocked if the Giants didn't take one of these receivers, assuming one of the round 1 level guys is there. Addison, Johnston, Flowers, etc. Jordan Addison's still here in this case. He's the pick for New York. Darnell Washington for the Dallas Cowboys at 26 overall. There's been a lot of buzz that they like Washington and some of these other tight ends. They lost Dalton Schultz in free agency. I think Washington's even better for this team. Emmanuel Forbes, the corner out of Mississippi State, he goes to Buffalo. This is, again, kind of just a best player available situation. Forbes could go top 20. He's sitting there at 27. Adds another piece to that secondary opposite of Tre'Davious White. Brian Branch, you lost Jesse Bates. Here's your replacement. Kind of simple, right, for Cincinnati. I think he's the one safety that could go in round 1. They go ahead and add him here. I was tempted to do Jahmyr Gibbs, but I settled on Brian Branch. Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle out of Pitt, he goes to New Orleans. He feels like a classic Dennis Allen defensive lineman, just a workhorse type, kind of a tweener, but his tape is really interesting, and I think he could play multiple spots on a defensive line. He goes 29th overall. Second pick for Philly in round 1, Brian Bresee. I kind of went trenches here. You get Skoronski at 10. You get Bresee here. You lost some defensive linemen in free agency, Javon Hargrave to the 49ers. Bresee's not Javon Hargrave, but he's a guy that can plug in and play at a pretty high level. All right, and then Baltimore actually doesn't make a first-round pick. They trade down, which I think they could have somewhat of a conservative draft approach if the Lamar Jackson situation isn't finalized. Rams have the 36th pick, so they move up to 31, and then they also send Baltimore number 77 overall. And then the Rams select Hendon Hooker. There's been some buzz that Hooker could sneak into the first round. I think the Rams are in an interesting position with Matthew Stafford with that elbow issue. He may not have a lot of time left. Hooker with the ACL injury, whoever drafts him will likely treat his first year as a redshirt. So why not get that fifth-year option by getting him in the first round? And I think a lot of the criticism around Hooker is, gimmicky offense, didn't have to make a ton of reads. Well, that was very similar to Jared Goff when the Rams had him with Sean McVay, and McVay kind of maximized Goff. I think he could do some similar things with Hooker in this offense down the road. Okay, over under 4.5 quarterbacks going round 1. I think 4 are certainly locks, Hooker being the X factor as a potential 5th. I went with over in this mock. Type O for over. If you don't think so, go ahead and type U for under when it comes to quarterbacks in round 1. All right, there you have it. Blockbuster trades on today's mock draft. I love doing this exercise. I did it last year. I plan to do it year after year here leading up to the draft. Subscribe. Join us Thursday night for round 1. It's going to be a hell of a time.